does anybody have any questions about the previous the homework or anything? Were you able to try those out? Anything
Y-
I
yes, here I have a question. I didn't download IX the the
accept?
Excel here. Yeah, in my laptop is Mac. I don't know how to download it. If you help me to do that, if you can.
Oh no, there's Excel for Mac also.
Yes, but I don't know how to do it. I'll see and then I'll try it, and then if I can do it, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Okay, all right, yeah,
Hmm.
sure. I don't have a Mac, but yeah, but I can help you with the when you go to the office. Probably, yeah, you can choose whether you want it for Windows or Mac. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, and even then you don't need to download actually because you can use the web version. It's called Office 360. So you don't need to download anything. You just use it as a web browser.
Okay, I'll check on it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
check that out. Yeah,
Okay.
360, and it's actually free. It should be free. Okay, anybody else?
I just have a quick question about the highlighting cells based on a formula. What sort of things would you put in that? Like, what sort
Oh,
of
okay.
formulas would you put in?
Yeah, you can put whatever formula you like. So, for example, let's go back to our example. Let me open the for day one practice thing. So let's say you want to highlight product inventories, taxes, student grades. Let's say over here, product defects. All right. So this is a data set. We call it a data set. That's the data analytics terminology. In Excel, they call it just a worksheet or a workbook. So this data set is a very small data set, only 15, like 16 rows of data and 5 columns. So it's a very, very, very small data set. But anyway, so it has some groups, work groups, and then their output, that how many units they produced and what is the defects. So let's say that you want to highlight based on some that okay, if the defect, if you see the defect ranges between 1.7% is the highest, and I think 0.2% is the lowest. So this is like this is a little technical, but it's a good idea to practice. So if you take the range, this is called range. In statistics, it's called range. Range of data, this percent defect is 1.7 minus zero point 0.2, which is 1.5, right? So what we can do over here, let's say we want to highlight or categorize, because you could, in real life you could have thousands and even millions of rows of data. I mean, this is just for practice. So what you will do, you will go to let's say go to home and condition formatting, and you say based on formula. So you create a new rule, and then you say use a formula to determine which cells to format. So over here, you will tell it what kind of formula you want. Sorry, this is not an example for formula. Okay, but anyway, so you can use like for example, this range. I only want those defects or those work groups which have the defects greater than 1.5%, right? So over here, what you will do, you will put a formula that okay, you select this, use the formula, and you will say formula usually start with an equal sign in Excel, and then you will give it a range that okay, within this range, you select this range, and it automatically select you from F3 colon F18. Now, and dollar means that is fixed. As you copy the formula across the rows or across the column, it will not change. So that dollar before the F means that the column F is fixed, and dollar before 3 means that row number 3 is fixed. So if you don't know that, that's fine. We will have a lot of examples coming up, so you will understand it later on. So you say that in this range, I want something which is, let's say, greater than zero point 0.2. and then you say, okay, I want to put them like a bold, italic, or whatever. Okay, so for some reason it did not. Okay, so 0.2 is in 6. So yeah, this is that's why I don't like Excel, because Excel actually does a lot of things, taking is as a by itself. Sorry. So you go back to home, condition formatting, and then you manage the rules, and you look at this rule which we just defined, and then we said that get it into. So it doesn't like this formula. I think it only takes equal over here, and then it only takes that equal to, or sorry, we should take a greater than whatever is in F. Let's say F6. Let's try this one. Yeah. Okay. This time it worked. So this is something, you really need to because I'm not a regular user of Excel. I mean, I used it like 20 years ago, and for the last 10 years at least, I'm not using Excel. But anyway, so what I did, so you understand, I put a formula that I want to highlight any of these defects, percentage defect. This is which is in column F, which is greater than 0.2%. Okay, so for some reason, why didn't it? Well, I see a lot of them are actually greater than. Wow. Okay. So as you can see, this formula didn't work as expected. So we need to figure out what's going on here. So we manage rule again. And I think what is going on is that I need to fix this one also. The problem is that, okay, dollar $F and then dollar $6. If you use the arrow key, it actually copies you because it's moving the arrow over here. So that's something which is have to do with Excel. Yeah. So all of them actually are greater than 0.2%, 0.2 or 0.2%. Hmm. This is really crazy. No, it's not highlighting anything. Okay. Yeah. So sorry because I'm not going equal to F6. Let me just put F6. Okay, and then see what happened. Yeah, so something is going on with, so what happened in this case, probably you'll have to look into the help that what is going on over here. So let me go through the script so that we do not have this problem. So what happens? It says, yeah, okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, so the problem is that your formula's comparison value must reference only the first value in the range. That's the problem. The problem is that whatever you put the value over here, it must reference only the first value in the. This is the limitation of Excel. I don't know why it is a limitation, but so what it means is that I'm saying that, okay, look into this range F3 through F18, and you can only put this condition which is the first in the range, and the first in the range is F3. So I'm saying that, okay, just compare those which are greater than the first value. And even then it didn't work because 0.2% is not greater than 0.8%. These are all actually, this is really crazy. What is going on here? So, okay, if it's equal to put, if we put an equal sign, let's see what happened now. Yep, only this one is 0.8, but this one is also 0.8, so it should have highlighting. So something is going on with this formula thing. You're right. I mean, this is not working as I expect. I mean, in programming, I mean, it's very simple. We just put the condition that, okay, I want to highlight whatever in this range is greater than, for example, 0.2%. So we should be able to do it. But over here, for some reason, it's not doing it. So, hmm, I don't think so. Anyway, so but the formula should be actually the range, that in the range you are looking for, and then you give it a condition. Okay, so in this condition, the condition is that, okay, that is equal to greater than or something. So what you do basically is that press F1. So it's opening it in a new window. Going to the support Microsoft's website and use condition formatting to highlight information. Okay. See, you are invited to try Microsoft 365 for free. So try this one. But anyway, so in the condition formatting, let's look for a formula. So if you have something like this, use a formula to determine which cell to format. So look under that. If you don't see the exact option you need when you create your own condition formatting rule, you can use a logical formula to specify the formatting criteria. For example, you may want to compare values in a selection to a result returned by a function or evaluate data in cells outside the selected range, which can be in another worksheet in the same worksheet, in the same workbook. Your formula must return true or false, but you can use conditional logic to string together. Okay, I see. So this is actually, they are combining a lot of things. So best thing is that look at some examples. Okay, so for example, look over here. Example one. Use two condition formats with criteria that uses and or tests. So over here they're saying that, okay, formula they're giving it that, and if B4 is less than equal to 75,000, if it is true, if it is false, then check if absolute value of B5 is less than 1500, then return okay. Or so what they are doing over here, so the use of two condition formatting rule. If the first rule doesn't apply, the second rule applies. So first rule, a home buyer has budgeted up to 75,000 as a down payment and 1500 per month as a mortgage payment. If both the down payment and the monthly payment fit these requirements, cells B4 and B5 are formatted green over here. Okay, B4 and B5. That's what they are saying. That if the down payment and the monthly payment, both of them, down payment is up to 75,000 and the monthly payment is up to 1500. It's negative because it's a cash out, so that's why it's negative. But it has to be greater than negative 1500. So as a mortgage payment, if both the down payment and the monthly payment fit this requirement, then you want to highlight them. So second rule is that, oh, this one is for this one, that if the down payment or the monthly payment does not meet the buyer's budget, B4 and B5 are formatted red. Okay, so that's how they are doing it over here. So what they are doing is to look at the formula, that they are applying a logical and. Logical and means that two conditions should be true. So logical and takes two conditions, and if both of them are true, then it returns true. If either one of them is wrong, then it returns zero. Because the formula rule is that it should return zero or one. How do I know? It's over here. That you have to start the formula with an equal sign, and the formula must return a logical value of true, which is one, or false, which is zero. Okay, so that's the problem, that so what you're saying over here, that for the first rule applies green color, is this formula, that you are applying the logical and and will take two arguments, meaning that it will take two conditions, and both of those conditions, if are true, then it will return true or one. If any one of them is false, then it will return zero. So that's why it has two if conditions separated by comma. So you see this comma? So that's separating these two conditions. The first condition is that if B4 is less than equal to 75,000. So if in B4 the down payment is less than or equal to 75,000, and so this is a logical and if absolute of this one, because this is a negative number, so that's why they're taking it the absolute value, which make it positive. So the positive of this number is less than equal to 1500, then they are saying that you return true, and both of them are true, then this whole condition will become true, and that's why these cells become this B4 become sorry, this first rule, it becomes green. In the second rule is that any one of them, if B4 is greater than 75, or if F5 is greater than equal to 1500, so either one of is correct, then it says then it will have to apply the red condition. So this is a little complicated, so that's why, and it's very convoluted, because in programming, when you're doing, like for example, in Python, it's very simple, or any programming language actually, and goes between the operand. These are called operands. But in Excel, because it's very old and they just try to fit a lot of new things, so that's why it becomes kind of a complicated thing. So over here, I mean, that's the thing I was talking about, that every day, you need to do something, some learning, or try out some of these things. So let's say if we can apply that, what I was trying to do over here was that I want to highlight anything which is greater than, let's say, 0.8%. Okay. So over here, the formula, I'll have to put an if formula. So which will return true or false. So what I will say, that if see, look over here, how they put the if condition. So if, again, if takes a condition and then it returns the true or false. So if you want help with if function, over here you can press F1. Oh no, it's opening in a new one. Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought it will open it over here. That's okay. So it says that if $F3, sorry, $F3 is greater than 0.8, then return true. Okay, so if it is returned true, then it should apply the condition. Okay, if it is greater than 8, then it's true. And then when we are saying applies to F3 through F18. Okay. Yeah, this is very convoluted. Sorry.
I think you need to add one more rule, and then the second formula goes into the second rule.
One more rule. No, you mean the end condition?
Yeah, the end condition.
No, not necessary. I mean, I'm not looking for end condition. What I'm saying is that if this condition is true, then if this condition is true, then what do we want to do? If this condition is true, is equal to 1, I think something like that. Because what I'm saying is that, okay, if this condition is true, if this logic is returns true, then it should then it should format that if F3 is greater than 0.8. Yeah, but yeah, this is a little, the example is actually not very helpful. Hold on a second. Let's look at the example again. So what are they doing in the example over here? See, no, over here the example is complicated, is a little more complicated, because the example is actually checking two conditions. That's why they put an and is equal to, and if then and if this is equal to, then they are putting two conditions. Yeah, but we are not putting two conditions. We are just saying that if our value is greater than zero point 0.8, then return true. That's all we want. That if our value in F3 is greater than 0 0.8, then we want to return true. And if it is true, then we want to format it as bold. That's the formula we want to put. So that's why. Okay, so let me try one more thing. What you do is, if something like this happens, what you do, you put over here, and then you look at if. Okay, if value if true, comma, value if false. Oh, okay. So this is a logical test, and then comma, the second argument is that what do you want if value is true? If value is true, then I want 1. And if value is false, then I want nothing, or null. It's basically returning null. So and the first argument is the logical test. So if you that's what I'm putting over here. That in my condition in my conditional formatting. Sorry, this is good getting too much. So what I'm saying that okay, if my logical condition is that if f3 is greater than 8, so this is my logical condition. If f3 is greater than zero point 0.8, then what it should return. It should return 1. I think it's probably should return true. That would be better. Maybe it's looking for true, and it's applying from f3 to f18 this formula that if f3 is greater than zero point 0.8, then return true. Is that the true in Excel, or is it a different true? I think it's see. I mean, all these things you need to. No, this is not working. Okay, sorry guys. I think I'll have to do more research on this thing. That why is not thing. So let me go back to our example, because this is really crazy. I mean, this is not as it's supposed to be.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Professor. Um, could it be because, I mean, if I'm understanding it right, F3 is equal to zero point 0.8, not greater. That might be why it's not.
No. Well, no. My rule is that if it is greater than zero point 0.8, but I am applying this rule from F3 to F18. So it's not. I mean,
So
see, I'm
I
applying this
think
rule.
because
Rule
what
applied
happened
in
with
order.
me,
See, these are the rule. Rule is that if F3 is the value in F3 is greater than zero point 0.8, then return true. Okay. And this rule
okay,
applies to all this cell in the range. My range is from F3 through F18. So this is actually a little confusing, because f3 I'm referring over here as just I'm giving it a sample example for the first cell in my range, and then over here I'm applying this formula to all the ranges, the all these cells from f3 to f18. So that's why
okay.
I mean, it should work, but I
In
think
in that case, I think I had that problem also, and I've kind of figured it out. I think.
yeah, we can figure it out, but
Uh,
it will take some
um,
trial and error.
it's I think it has to do with the second dollar sign that you put on the row, because I was doing that on my
Okay.
own. Well, when I just put the dollar sign in front of the column
Yeah, it
and
fixed the
not the
column.
row,
Uh-huh.
it applied it to all the other uh like rows as well.
Okay, let me see. Let me try this one. Nope. No,
Like
no, something
no,
something
I mean
else.
like let me see.
No, something else is going on here. Which either the there's something else is going on here. Because we have to
Like
understand that
even in the range is what I'm saying.
in the range. So you're saying
Yeah.
that don't fix the f, but that doesn't matter because we. But anyway, okay. Instead of wasting
Okay.
time here, yeah, let me try it out, and then I'll have to probably do some apply sorry I mean, we can spend more time, because if it does I mean like but the thing is that their examples are not very. They should start with a simple example, and then they should go into these complex examples. For example, over here they are checking it, two of them. They apply two rules. The formula for the first rule is that apply the green color, that if b4, the value in b4 is less than equal to 75,000, and if the value in this monthly payment is less than equal to 1,500, then they want it green. So that's the first rule. The second rule is that if either one of them, if either the b4 is greater than instead of less than, is greater than 75,000, or if this monthly payment is greater than or equal to 1,500, then they want to apply the red rule. Okay, so that's how they apply these two rules over here. Um, See, the must return a logical value of true or false. Yeah, true is uppercase, all uppercase, or 1. False is 0. Dialog box. Okay. Select the number, font, border, or fill format you want to apply when the cell values. Okay, use two conditions. So this first example, uh, they have any other example? No. So this is not what we want to apply, because we are saying that if f3 is so what I'm saying is that if f3 is greater than 0.8, which is this one. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, it's yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I got it. I think zero, because it's 0.8% actually is 0.08. 0.8% is actually zero point 0.8 divided by zero point 0.8 divided by 100. Okay, so that's a problem. Yeah, that's the problem, I think. Oh, okay. If f3 is greater than 0.08, then I want to return 1, right? No, the 0. Even 0.01 is 0.8 is a 8. Sorry, I'm getting confused too. Okay, 0.008. Okay, so now it applied to every it applied to everything. Yeah, so this means that our formula is correct. At least now we know that formula is working, but something else is going on, because this is 0.8. Okay, so this d3 divided by e3. So d3 divided by e3 will give us yes, something else is going over here. Okay, so this is the formatting, because they are okay. Hold on a second. I think I got it, because if you go to home, they have formatted as percentage. Okay, I see. If we format it as normal, the answer is 0.008. Okay, so 0.008 is that is a 0.8%. Yeah. So now we should be able to. So these are the things which you need to learn through, because everything has its own. So it says that if this is greater than 0.008, yeah, but this one is not greater than 0.008, right? Because see, the thing is that we also formatted them as percentages, so that's why this is happening. So let me d3 over e3. So d3 over e3 over here will give me oh, it's also doing the percentage formula. Okay, 1 second. Why it's not? So what I'm saying is that, okay, copy it here and then format it not as percentage but as normal. Okay, so this is 0.008, 0.004. So anything greater than 0.008, which is this one, but not this one. So this one should be bold. This one should not be. This one should not be bold. This one should be bold. That's what I want, right? So now let's go to our rules and see what's going on over here. What happened to our rules? Oh, sorry. I have to be here. Then it will show me the rule. So what I'm saying is that if f3 is greater than 0.008, which is this one, yeah, that's fine. Then return true. Okay, let's see what it does now. Yeah, it's still highlighting everything, even though this one is also, and apply it from f3 to f18.
Why don't we try it with the numbers, just column
Then-
A, column H?
I'm sorry, what is that? What are you saying?
Why don't we just try with the numbers instead of percentage?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying it with the. You mean that you do it over here?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, yeah, we can do it over here and see if it works here. Okay. So select this range, conditional formatting, new rules, formula, and then over here, I want to put a formula format that when this $3 is greater than 0.008 and return 1 and format it as a bold. No, no. See, it's applying it. It's saying everything is true,
Oh,
even though
I
this one is.
believe. Can you please try like just $sign F3 instead of $sign F $3?
So $F3 using just fix the column.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
because I think the second $sign makes it so that it's
So
only applying.
to
So
this cell.
like if that F3 is true, then that would make all of them true
Yeah.
because it's only pointing to F3 instead of going through all of the rows.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it. Okay. So let me explain that brother. What brother suggested. So let me try it over here also. So what he is saying is that because right now $F $3 means it's fixing to a F3. This only this cell. And because this condition is true for this cell, so that's why it's it's checking for only for this cell for everything. So that's why Baza suggested that we take away this $sign from 3 so that it will only apply to. So what would happen? This dollar means that we are fixing the column, but we are not fixing the row. So as it goes across the down the row, it will change. Next for this one, the condition will become F4. This will become F5. This will become F6, F7, and so on and so forth. So that's what the $sign is doing. So what it did. Okay, so look at the formula now. So we can get rid of this thing now. Okay. So let me explain. Okay, so now what happened here? Yeah, these things can get very because this is not programming. This is semi-programming. They're applying a lot of things. Oops, sorry. So so that's why I don't like, or the data analysts actually don't use Excel unless they have been using it for years, because you have to learn a lot of these basic Excel nuances. Okay, anyway. So what Bada is saying is that, yeah, so look at this formula. It says if $F3, so dollar means you fix, meaning that what happens, if anybody doesn't understand it, let me explain to you that what dollar is doing. Let's say over here, I want to put a formula that whatever is in D3, what is in D3 is the defect, number of defects, divided it by E3. Okay, so that defects divided by units, that will give you the ratio of defects per to the units. Now if you want, I want to copy this formula across over here, and then let's say okay, it only has two columns, but anyway, so if you want to copy this formula, what would happen that because you're only going down the row, down the column, so the column H will remain the sorry, that this D this thing will remain the same. Over here it should become D4 divided by E4. Over here in the next cell, it will become D5 divided by E5, and so on and so forth. So that's why we do not fix anything. So that's why I did not put any $sign over here. Now, if I put a $sign, I press F2 and edit it. Let's say I only want to divide it by everything out of, let's say, 1000. Or where is 1000? Do we have any 1000 here? No, we don't have any 1000. So let's make one thing 1000, for whatever reason. Let's make this 1000. And then what we want to do is we want to take the percentage of this defects only with this 1000. So we want to fix it. So if we want to fix it, that the formula doesn't change. See, right now over here formula is D3 over E3. But let's say that we want to divide always whatever number of defects divide by 1000. So either we put it 1000 here, or if we don't know that is 1000, what we can do, we can say whatever is in E. 1000 is in what row? E8. Okay. So what is it doing now is dividing 8 by E8. Okay. Now if I copy this formula, if I copy this formula, if I copy this formula across, if I copy this formula in all the rows, look over here. E8 is fixed. E8 is not changing. Okay, only D change. So over here is D3 divided by E8, over here is D4 divided by E8, over here is D5 divided by E8, and so on and so forth. So this way, with the dollar, I fix the column name as well as the row number. Now, in our case over here, what was happening that if when we were fixing both F3, so we are fixing it to this only this F3 cell. So what it was doing, for even though the formula was being applied from F3 to F18, it was only checking against F3. So that's why it was always true, and it was converting every one of them as bold. Good. So does everybody understand it? What was happening? Anybody who does not understand, so I can explain it one more time. Anybody doesn't understand it? What was happening over here? I mean, it's very important to understand, not for only for formatting, but also for a lot of other things. So that's why I want to make sure that everybody understands this concept. Anybody is still confused, don't be shy. So what would happen actually, that if for this cell for F3, the condition will be that if a value in F3 is greater than 0.008, then return true. Okay, and when return true, then it applies the rule. And what is the rule? The rule was that formatting rule. That whatever rule I gave it for formatting, you can edit the rule and you can see the formatting. So in the formatting I said that, yeah, make it bold. I can do anything. I can say, okay, format it as a red. So if I apply this rule, and then then what would happen, that when I apply this, those things become red also, bold and red. Okay, so what was happening is that in this case, if I fix 3 also, what would happen, that all of them were being read. And the reason was that for this one it checked against F3, for this one is also checked against F3, and F3 is always true. So in all of them became true. That is happening because I fix this F$3. But if I only fix F3, only the column name, or even if I don't fix the column name either, if I just say F3, it should work, still work. And the reason is because my formula is only going down. So that's why I don't even need to fix column F. But if my formula involves some multiple columns and I need to fix a column, then I have to fix that F. So do you understand this concept of fixing in the formula when you copy the formula? Because this formula is being applied not only to F3, it's applying to this range F3 through F18. Now this is a single column range F3 through F18, but for each one of them, for example, for F3, it checks that if F3 is greater than 0.008, then it runs 0. For F4, because nothing is fixed, so it will check F4. If F4 is greater than 0.008, then it returns true, which will make the rule apply to this cell. Because over here, 0.5 is not greater than 0.008, so that's why it did not apply the rule in this F4. Then it goes to F5. F5, it checks that if the value of F5 is greater than 0.008, yes, it is. So that's why it applies the rule and it turns it into bold and red background. Then it goes to F6. Because nothing is fixed, so it checks for F6, and if F6 is greater than 008, then it applies the rule, and that's so on and so forth. Everybody understand that? Sorry it took so much time, but these are the things which are Excel specific. Does anybody still has any confusion? Please speak up now so that I can explain one more time if you need to, hear it one more time. Because this is actually what happened, that usually originally Excel was only supposed to do this formula copy. That over here, you have a formula and you copying it down the row, down the column. So you don't have to fix anything, or if you want to fix anything, just fix that cell. But now with analytics, which is fine for the experts who always only use Excel, that is fine. For the new starter, is fine. I mean, you will have to spend some time to understand the behavior. But as you That's why we included the Python also, because ultimately you will have to use Python, if not now, then in a couple of years. Any questions? Am I making any sense? Please respond. Everybody is right. So I'm
No,
nervous.
no, we understood this part. My question is not with this Excel formatting. If the industry is not using Excel, then why we're studying Excel?
No, no. Industry is using Excel in the sense, sister. The problem is that, okay, I mean, we are in transition. Transition means that data analytics, the original data analytics, or what we call business intelligence or data science, those are very technical people. They don't use Excel. Okay, why? Because of all these, Excel is a retrofit for data analytics. But the new people and the non-technical people who are coming from business analysis background, they still use Excel. So the reason that we are studying Excel is that if you go to industry, you don't know, which job you're applying for. So they may ask that, okay, we use Excel. Do you know data analytics in Excel? So you should be able, because there are more opportunities for Excel users to get into a job. But once you go into and you become, then you will realize that Excel is actually is not that powerful tool. So you will need to use Power BI, or you need to use other programming which have some more powerful scripting language, which is more logical, just like because they're made for data, like for example Python, or or whatever the tools are. So it's not that Excel is not in the industry, but the thing is that the people who came through more data science and business intelligence, like myself, we left Excel 10 years ago, because we use it only for as a basic information gathering and things like that. For our data analysis, I mean, first of all, Excel cannot handle it because we have millions and even billions of rows of data. So Excel, it can only have up to 1,048,576 rows in one workbook. So that's why we don't use Excel. And the other thing is that if you, even if not 1 million, if you even if you have few thousand rows, Excel become very slow, because Excel has to, every time you change anything, it has to calculate everything in all the cells, which makes it very, very slow. So that's the reason that the advanced users don't use Excel. They go on some other tools. But for the beginners, Excel is an excellent tool. And even like, for example, my brother, I mean, because he's not a programmer, I came from a programming background, so that's why I'm comfortable with Python, or other programming scripting languages. But my brother, for example, he has been using Excel for all his analysis because he always used Excel. So he does very complex, all of these complex conditioning and all of these complex analysis of stock data and all those data. He does it in Excel because he's comfortable. He's been doing it for 30 years since Excel came. You know, so I also started in when Excel came, but then I left it 10, 15 years ago. I mean, started like leaving it 10, 15 years ago, and for the last 10 years, I probably have very seldom used Excel. And in the last 10 years, they have retrofitted a lot of analytics function into Excel. So it's not that it cannot do, and a lot of majority of the people in the industry, because analytics is becoming very common. So that's why it's a very popular tool, and more likely if you go into any industry, they will ask you about Excel. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but ultimately you will have to learn some more powerful and more tools which are designed for analytics, like scripting, for example. All right. Okay. So that was a good practice for me also. So you understand that how we can do this formatting, right? And then you can add multiple rules also over here. For example, this one rule was that if it's greater than 0.8%, then it's red. You can add another rule. So you say another new rule. Use the formula also, and then sorry, first select. Let me select the. Um, Let me select the range. So see, this is another Excel thing that you have to say, okay, what where do you apply to want to apply the formula? Let's say we want to say anything less than 5.5% should be green. So now we go again, select the range where we want to apply the formula, go to condition formatting, say add a new rule, use a formula, and this time we always start with a U and then say that if F3 is greater than, sorry, less than uh, or equal to 0.5, then return true. Okay, and then format it with a green background, and also bold it. Let's say. No, it applied because everything is. So what is the formula I put? So if F3 is less than equal to zero point 0.5, or not zero point 0.5. See, I'm just saying zero point 0.5. It should be 0.005. See, this is another thing over here, that if you press the right arrow, it because percentage. So that's why, yeah. So what I did now, I applied two formulas, two condition. One is that if it is greater than 0.8%, then it's red. If it is less than, if it is less than 0.2%, or 0.5%, sorry, less than or 5. Now over here because 0.5, because of the rounding. If you look over here, it should be actually 0.004 something. So let me see exact value. This 0.004. So why is it saying 0.5%? It should say 0.4%. Yeah, this is some Excel. Yeah, it's all. Oh, because I fix it with this one. Oh, I think that's the problem. I fix it with this 1000. That's the problem happening. Oh no, but I didn't fix it here, did I? Yeah, it looks like that I fix it over here. Yeah, yeah, I fix it over here. That's why it's giving me this error. So I don't want to fix anything. Just keep it like this, and then copy it across all this range. See, these are the things. Oops, sorry. See what was happening? Because over here start with E8, so that's the problem. I should start with E3. That's why it was giving me there. So these are the things, which you have to be careful in Excel. Okay, so now it makes sense. It's actually 0.49%. So it rounded it to zero point 0.5. That's why it's still green because it's less than zero point 0.5. Our condition was that less than zero point 0.5 we want green. Now over here, of course, it is less than zero point 0.5. It's also less than 5. But anything greater than zero point 0.5, less than 1 point, less than zero point 0.8 is not highlighted. So these four things are not highlighted. Okay, if you want, you can put another rule over there, but these are the two rules I applied. So how do you see those rules? You go to the range, you look at the manage rules, and you see these two rules. And these rules, both of them are being applied from F3 to F18. And the first rule is that if this number F3, starting F3, so just don't think of it as fixed. It's F3 in F3, and then it goes like F4, F5, F6 through F18 because that's the range. So if in F3 is less than or equal to 0.00, yeah, see this thing actually happened because I Okay. So the rule is that if f3 is greater than or less than or equal to 0.005, then make it green and bold. If the f3 value is greater than 0.008, then make it bold and red. So that's why these two rules are being applied in this column. All right. Anything else? Anything in the unclear? So when you're applying these rules, the problem is that you have to take care of a lot of things. You have to know that okay, where which rule is being applied. There might be some overlap between the rules. So all those things you have to take care of. In programming, it becomes a little simpler because it's more organized. But over here in Excel, because we are trying to retrofit a lot of things, so that's why you have to apply a lot more effort, which is fine for business analysts and the people who don't like programming. It's a trade-off. So they have to be careful. That's why you say that if you give business analysts any problem, they take 2 days to solve it. Why? Because they have to make sure that everything is working as expected. So they will go back, they will apply these things, and then they have to double check, triple check. They have to test all these things. In programming, it's more logical, as you will see in a couple of weeks when we start the programming. Okay. So anything else on the formatting? Sorry for all this trouble, but I think it's worth it because you know you will learn some new things, and hopefully they will stick to you, especially if you face all these problems. Then you will remember it for the next time. All right. Okay. So the next thing is that removing. Yeah, you can remove edit the condition formatting and remove them from that same dialog box. That's not a problem. Inserting charts in a workbook. Okay. Any questions before we go to this topic? Because I think we skipped this. Yeah, this was not part of the homework. But please try these things. Um, I mean that example I really don't like. This is not a good example. Believe it or not, in Python, and in all other language, like I started with R language, which is a statistical language. They have very good examples. This is a very bad example actually to start with. But that's my opinion. All right, Brother Ahmed, go ahead. You have something to say?
No, no, no. I'm learning too.
Yeah, this thing is that's why I don't like Excel. Anyway, okay, all right. So inserting a chart, I email you a new worksheet called concessions. So on that worksheet, we have some data which we will use for the inserting the charts. So for example, over here in the calories section, we have this chart. So let me delete it. So we are doing actually two things over here. One is VLOOKUP. I put in my formula. I'm sorry. So we have these items which somebody did a game sale, basketball game, and they sold some items. So they entered this data. Let's see how much data is there. It's about 199 rows of data. So it's a small data set. So what are they doing? That they are just writing down what item they sold, what category belongs to, the price, the profit, and actual profit, and the calories. Now, in this second sheet, in the calories sheet, what they did actually, that they have this, that which item contains how many calories. Okay, so that's why that's what they have. And now over here, they are getting it from that sheet. So before we do that, that's how you look up for calories based on some common field. What is the common attribute? Common attribute is the item name, juice. So over here, see the juice. In this sheet, the juice is 200 calories. Over here, let's say we delete this thing, and let me show you that how you can get it. So let's say that you want to get that calories for your item, for the items you sold, to get it from this sheet. So what you will do for that one, you will have to use what we call VLOOKUP. Okay, so you put equal to and then just say VLOOKUP, and it will give you this thing that what is it. So You can double click on this one and press F1, and it will show you the help about VLOOKUP. But over here, the VLOOKUP, what it says, it takes at least one, two, three arguments or three parameters, and a fourth one is the optional. In the square bracket means it's optional. You don't have to give it. If you don't give it, it takes some default value. So what it's saying is that look up for some value. Now, what is the value I'm looking up? I'm looking up for value in this A2, right? This is the one I am looking for in this one. And then over here, I will look at A3 and then A4 and then A5. So I'm only looking at this one. So that's fine. So I say, okay, look up A2. Now where to look up? It says tab, array. Which array do I have to look it up? So over here, what you can do, when you put the comma, after putting the comma, you go to this over here, and then you select from here to here, so that you give it this range. That in this range, look up. So look over here what it did. It single quote basketball game sales, and then exclamation mark. So this is mean that this is the sheet name. Basketball game sales sheet name, and A2 through B15. Okay. So it says that look. So no, why is it? This is wrong actually. So I'm saying that look up in actually calories salary. Sorry, calories over here. So I want to look it up in calories sheet. Okay. So you look it up in the calories sheet and then go back. Should be in calorie sheet. Why is not doing it in the calorie sheet? Okay. I press enter, so it gave me an error that that too few parameters, because it needs at least one more parameter. This parameter says which column should I return. So what I'm telling, VLOOKUP is telling, I'm telling VLOOKUP that okay, look for this value in A2 into this sheet called calories. Should be actually in single quotes. Look at in this calorie sheet, and in the range A2 to B15, and then if it matches, get the second column, not the first column, because first column we are matching. Okay, so look over here. Is what it did. It says that okay, juice, but juice actually it did not match for some reason. Look up calories A2 to yes. Oh, okay. Because I did not put the single quote because it doesn't have a space, so you don't need the single quote. That's why it removed the single quotes. And I'm saying is that okay, A2 to B15. Look it up in A2 to B15, and then return the indicate the column index. I think this column index is yeah. So if I look at the first column, then it brings the name, and if I put it at 2 1, and then at the end I also have to give it another parameter called so I will have to give it another parameter, that what kind of if it doesn't match, what should it return. Okay. So that's why I have to give it false. I'm saying to return this one and then return that thing should be false. Okay, now it worked as expected. So what it did, it looked up whatever is in A2, which is juice. This takes this value in A2 column, is A2 cell, goes into the calorie sheet and looks up in A2 through B15. So in calorie sheet A2 through B15, we have our lookup table, what we call lookup table. And then it tries to match, always matches with in that range the first column. So A2 is juice, so it matches with juice. Now remember, it doesn't go up to down. Internally it has some algorithm, so that's why when I did not give it false, what actually it was doing, it was matching it with ice, because ice also has ICE. So this is some behavior which is very confusing. But actually, what was happening actually, that when I did not give this parameter false, it means that just match and just just try to match the first match, not the exact match. So but I want the exact match, so that's why I put it false, this argument false, meaning that I only return exact match. If you don't find exact match, then return false. Okay, by default is true, meaning that it was just looking for juice, and then over here it find ice, and it said, hey, it's a partial match, so that's why it was returning ice. You understand? If you don't give it false over here, because this is an optional argument, if you don't give false over here, it was returning 240. Now why was it returning 240? Look over here, 240 calories are in the ice cream sandwich, so it was able to partially match ice with the juice in A2. Okay, so that's why it's returning 240, because I did not specify that I want only exact matches. You understand? This is very important because this is a source of a lot of confusion. So that's why you have to give it another parameter called whether approximate match, which is the default value, or exact match. For exact match, I have to put false here. Okay, so I say add the false, and when I put false, then it correctly tries to exactly match juice. So exactly match juice matches juice over here. Now you might think that it goes from top to bottom. No, internally what it did actually to optimize is searching, because you can have thousands of rows, so it's sorted. Now when it sorted, ice cream came before juice, so that's why as soon as it found a partial match, it returned this value 240. You understand what was happening? Anybody has any confusion? Please speak up.
No,
No, what? You don't understand or you don't have confusion?
no confusion.
No confusion. Okay. Anybody who does not understand what I just explained? Because this is very, again, you have to be careful that what you are doing. We don't want a partial match. So what would happen that if we give something over here, let's say instead of juice, I write over here, let's say even if ice.
So,
Yeah.
what are we trying to do here? I'm a little confused.
Okay. So what we are trying to do over here is that getting the calories in this sheet, which just contains my data for sale. Now this is very common in business. Okay, in data analytics, it's very common that we are trying to combine data from multiple sheets. So what we are saying is that this column calories, I do not need to replicate or again input this data over here. Why? Because I have this sheet which contains my products, items I have for sale, and how many calories do they contain. Okay, so I am trying to reuse this thing into this sheet, my sales sheet. So I don't want to re-enter this data. I mean, I can manually enter 200 calories here, because I know that ice cream contains 200, right? But in but the best thing is that if you have these calories in some other table, we call it table in database language. If you have that data in some other table, then you just get this, you just merge those tables, or you just relate those tables. That's why it's called relational database, that you relate them on the some item. For example, in this case, we are relating them on the item name. So this ice cream sandwich contains, over here it will look for ice cream sandwich, and ice cream sandwich contains 240 calories. So that's why when it found a match, it returned the second column. In this range, the second column, it contains the number of calories, so it returned 240 here. Okay, that's what it did.
Okay.
You understand? So instead of inputting it manually, we are trying to automate it. Now over here, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I put something here which is not found in this sheet, then what happens actually is returning an error. It says not available. Now, NA means that not applicable, or is it doesn't know what to do. So it return an error. So I would immediately know that this what we call lookup field does not exist in my lookup table. This is my lookup table where I'm looking for items. Okay, the queue does not exist here, right? So that's why, if I make it Q, Look over here. If I make it Q, then it will return 200. See, it return 200 because
Oh,
now it found this item Q in this sheet and it grabbed its second column, which is the calories. You understand what's going on over here?
yes, yes.
Okay. So now let's say I change it back to juice. Now, if I change it back to juice, then it will give an error because now juice is not there. So these are the problem which we face in manually when we are maintaining it manually. Now, if I change the juice over here also, it will be good over here. That's why we need databases, because in database systems, what we do this all automatically. Now, okay, now once my formula is working, all I have to do is over here when my cursor becomes this narrow cross sign, I double click here, and it will copy all of them, you know, down all of them. But a lot of them are NA, and the reason for that NA is that my this A2 through B15 is changing, is shifting. So my formula is not good. You understand what's going on over here?
Yeah.
I
So
think you
that's
need to
why,
lock
yeah,
it, right?
that's I'm sorry.
You lock the formula, right?
That's why I have to fix those. Yeah, that's why I have to fix this thing. So that's why I'm saying that I mean I fix the rows because I need this fixed range from A2 to B15. Now if I fix it and then now copy it, then everything should be fine. Okay, understand? The bottled water has 0 calories. Water has 0 calories. So that's why this zero is there. It's not an error because in this sheet you will see that the bottled water has 0 calories. So what this VLOOKUP is doing now again, if you don't understand it, let me do it one more time. So over here, what I say I want to look up VLOOKUP. Okay, VLOOKUP for what? So what values you are looking for? So I say that I want to look in this cell. I want to look up this A2. So I don't have to fix A2. That's why I just put A2. The second argument is that where to look up. Now where to look up is in calories sheet. Okay, so I go over here and then I select this range, and then I press tab or or enter. So over here it returns like this. Now I have to fix this thing because by default it does not fix it. So I think there's a way that you can fix it, but the easiest way is just put a dollar sign before it, before the column name row number and column name row number on the range. And then the third argument is that if it gets a match, what should it return? That's why it's called column index number. Which column index should it return the value from? So I'm saying is that if you find a match for A2, whatever A2 contains, if you find that match in this range, then return what? Return the second column, because this first column is for matching and the second column is the value. So I say okay, return the second column. So I don't need to give all this thing. I just say number two. Number two is the column number from where I want to return. And the important thing is that this optional argument, whether you want the lookup range, match the exact approximate matching or exact matching. So I want exact matching, so I have to put it false. Then I close the formula, with the right parentheses and press enter, and it correctly returned 200 calories. Now all I have to do is to copy it throughout because all my data is continuous, meaning that there's no gap. If there's a gap, then the formula copy will stop there. So all I have to do is just double click on this one, and it will copy the formula all the way to the bottom. And it stopped here. Why? Because the next cell is blank. That's why it stopped here. Okay, so you look over here, it automatically changed to A200, A199. Okay, so sorry. All right. Any question? So that's was the VLOOKUP. It's very important because VLOOKUP we do it a lot. So if you want to read more help or they have a lot of examples because you can get multi different column, not necessarily the second column. You can get multi, but we will be using it quite a lot. So that's why for now I think it's a good start. The next thing is that, let's say in this sheet, you also want to insert a chart. So what you do, you select with the column names, this whole data, and you go into insert menu and you say that I want to insert a chart. Now there are all these different kind of charts. There are 6 different kind of charts in the basic Excel. In Power BI, we have a lot more, of course, but over here, each one of them have subcategories. So what kind of chart you want? You can scatter chart, you want, like histogram, statistical chart, you want like a stacked or hierarchical, chart, or you want just simple chart. So I want a simple chart, of this type. And whatever you select, it will show you a preview here. So it's dynamically generating it, and then you can select whatever you want. Then you can move around it. Sorry, you hold it, and then you move it here, and then you can resize it also. However big you want, you can resize it. Now, because it has column headings, so that's why it gave that, okay, this is showing the calories, and this is showing the each item in that one. So it's showing the calories for each one of the items. Now Excel is, they try to build some intelligence, so it automatically figure out that that's what you want. Okay. Now, if you want to modify this, you select this column and then right click, and then you say format, or format this. You can change the format, the chart type. You can select some different data. You can delete it, or you can format some of the this area, that if you want to fill it in. Let's say you want some fill color, solid fill. See over here, background is it's filled solidly, or gradient, or pattern fill, some kind of pattern. What kind of pattern you want to fill it in the background? So you can be very creative, or the basic is just no fill. Okay, just keep it simple. What kind of border you want? You can select the borders over here. So you have a lot of option there. You can select, how much transparent, how wide, what kind of dashes you want, and things like that. If you want to change some data in the chart, over here, you right click and you say, what do you say? You say format chart area. No, this is the formatting. Select data. Over here, you can, for example, remove some of the data if you don't want. For example, I don't want juice. You can exclude it, and when you apply it, it will exclude the juice. Okay, and then you always press Control Z to undo it to get back to the original position. Okay, now if let's say you want to change some of the plot area, oh sorry, format the. No, this is not I want. I want the, sorry. I'm trying to figure out. This is the chart style, and this is the chart filter. You can filter some data. Let's say that you want some. This is the area inside. Okay, insert. Sorry, yeah, chart design. Yeah, this is what I'm looking. Yeah, they keep changing. It used to be in the right click. So if you want to change more options, you go to chart design, and you can select different kind of charts from here. But what I was trying to show you is that add chart elements. The chart has a lot of elements. It has axes, x-axis and y-axis, so horizontal and vertical. Okay, x-axis is the horizontal axis, y-axis is the vertical axis. So you can have some more options that how you want to display them. You can put different titles. You can change the main title of the chart. You can add it. You can add data labels also. For example, you want the data labels also, that the values of the data. So you can say I want them in the center. So these values you see is showing you that this chocolate bar contains 255 calories, and juice contains 200 calories. Bottled water contains 0 calories. If you want not in the if you don't want in them in the center, inside, what was it? The data labels, you don't want it, or you want it outside, and you can select this option. So these numbers are now outside, so you have a lot of control. You can play with them all day. What kind of grid lines you want, what kind of, you also want to fit a trend line or not. We will go over there in Power BI. but even you can also do it in Excel. So there are a lot of these things which you can play with to make it more presentable. But don't spend too much time, because you don't want to you don't want your audience to get lost in the details or the beauty of the chart. The purpose of the chart is to display what you are trying to display. So just highlight whatever you're trying to highlight, and don't spend too much time on other things. All right, any questions?
No.
All right, good. Okay, so the next item is the subtotals. Now this is also very important, because subtotals are especially for the people who are Excel lovers, you know or who people who use Excel a lot. They have to do it a lot of times. So for example, see, there are a lot of tabs here. Consolidation, budgets. Okay, what was I looking for? I was looking for expenses. Sales, sorry, sales. Yeah. Okay, so let's say sales or what? Let me see. I don't want to go. Yeah, this one, invoices. Okay, let's say you have this sheet which has the invoice, customer number, which country, region, unit price, and thing like that. Okay, and then you want to make it little, little more, because there's a lot of information. This may be confusing and a lot of repeating information. They are, even though they are like 452 rows. So, but still, it's a lot of information. So what you want to do, you want to summarize. Let's say all the invoices for this customer, you want to summarize here. So you can do it in multiple ways. Let's first try the subtotals. So what you do, you select a cell in the range in this column, right? So you want all of them. So you don't have to select all. Any cell will work over here. In the range that you want to subtotal, and then you say data. Go to your data menu and say subtotal. This one over here. Okay, click on subtotal, and now it will ask you. Okay, it figure out that okay, you are in the customer column. So it says okay, I am doing this subtotaling on the customer column using what function. What kind of, I mean, subtotal kind of is a misnomer, or it's not a good name. But again, it's coming for a long time, so they don't want to change and disturb the old people. So so that's what. But you can apply, instead of subtotal, you can do a lot of mathematical function. You can add them up, you can count, you can get the average, maximum value, minimum value. You can, their products, multiplication, and things like that. So say subtotal means sum, and then which column. So let's say I want to subtotal for the customers on their quantities, that how much they bought, or total, or let's say that how much they paid. So you go and look for the total column and select that one. If you want more than one column, you can select more than one column also. You say, okay, I want a total of quantity as well as total, and then press OK. So look what it did. It automatically, did some highlight, some what you call subtotaling or level. It found three levels. So 1, 2, 3. The third level is the detail level. So the first level is the very high level. It says that okay, from one all the way, I think, to the end is all one great subtotal. 452 rows, 450 rows. See, up to here, grand total. That's we should say grand total. So this is the grand total. Total sale was $298,491 for a total quantity of 10,646 items. Okay, so that's the first level. In the second level, what it did it actually on your customer names. And the third level is the detail level or original level. So it did the subtotaling that okay, for this customer. Now for this one, remember one thing: the customer should be the similar customer should be together. Meaning that if they are mixed, then it will not be accurate. So that's why before you do this, apply the subtotal, always sort your data on the field on which you want to subtotal. Okay, and how do you sort the data? If, for example, if it is not sorted, what you do, you have to select the whole thing. Select from A1. So let's say, let me do it undo, and then let's say, okay, from A1, and then one more time. Okay, select the whole data, go to data format, and then say sort. Okay, ascending or descending, and then it will ask you sort by which column. So you say, okay, I want to sort by customer name, customer column, and then sort on what kind of data, values or colors or condition formatting. You can even sort on condition formatting also, but I say no, I want to sort on values, and then A to Z order, and then it says my data has headers, so that's why this first row will remain header, and then it will keep all the other columns intact, and then you press OK, and as you can see now it alphabetically sorted. So now you will be sure that all the similar customer will be together, unless you have inconsistencies in naming your customer. That's why we always use the customer IDs, because customer IDs are more stable. Name, sometimes there might be mistakes, so it will be different name. For example, if this Futter but Alfred Futter Christie, if you, instead of Futter is you write Futter DD, it will be a different customer if somebody mistype something. Okay, so that's why it's always a good idea to use the customer code IDs instead of these names. But anyway, so for our purpose, it's fine. So now let's say we have sorted it. Now we can go into our data again, and then say, okay, subtotal. Do the subtotaling on customer field, and I want the summation of quantity and total again, and press OK. And now as you can see, it did the totaling on the customer name. That this customer bought 35 total items, 15 plus 2, 17 plus 16, 33 plus 2, 35. For $1,317, this is 825 plus 2845 and plus 11 25 and 19 is 1317. Okay, and 1316 and $1 here, so 1317. All right. And if you want, you can also do a total on this column also if you want, and then whatever. So this now your data has become more readable. But not only that, but what you can do actually, you can instead of expanding it, you can collapse it. So if you do like this collapsing, all you will do, you will only have this level. Okay. So this way, if you have thousands of rows, it will be easier to display. You can do all of these collapsing. Okay. So this is called subtotaling. Any questions? This is a very powerful feature. When I started in 1980s, we used to write COBOL programs, for example, or then Pascal to do this totaling. Now is of course it's very easy through these things. So that's one thing. Another option is what we call outlining. Okay, through the grouping and ungrouping. So you can do this outlining based on some groups also. Okay, we go there. Before we go there, any question on subtotal? It's very important because a lot of when you're using Excel, subtotals are very important because they make large worksheets easier to read. And and also when we will go into pivot tables, that also work on these totaling. All right. Any questions? So for that one, let's go into this sales. This what is it? Consolidated sale. No, it's not. That's a different thing. Sorry, expenses. Okay, so there are a lot of. I think is in the division A budget now. Division C budgets. Yeah, okay, let's go over here. No, it's not the budget. Consolidated by category. Sorry, which sheet is it? Okay, let me find an appropriate sheet for this to show you this thing, that because it doesn't work. And of course in everything it doesn't work. So it's consolidated sales. No, sales, consolidated sales by. Sorry guys, because there are too many. See, this is the problem with Excel. You have to find all these things manually. Where did it go? Okay. Let's start from the beginning. Product inventory, sales rep, no, not taxes, no data bar, string rate, product defects, schedule, invoice, no invoices, it's not in the invoices. But yeah, this one, budget. Okay, so let's say this one. Yeah, this one I think will be more appropriate for okay, so let's first me ungroup it, clear the outline. Okay, clear outline. So this is, let's say, your worksheet. You are working for some budget. So you have these months, quarters, and then you are adding them. See the formula, sum B3 through D3. So you, for the last 3 months, and then this is from F3 to H3, and so on, so on. So you are doing the total, these totals quarterly, and then you are also doing total on the row by the divisions, division 1, division 2, division 3. Now this is a very good example for what we call grouping. Now over here, so what you do, um, the worksheet which you have, so be careful that this grouping works only if you have consistent formulas, meaning that, for example, in this totaling you have these left three columns, in this total you have these left three columns, in this total you have these left three columns, and so on and so forth. You cannot mix and match. For example, you cannot have over here like this row and this row, then it will mess up. So this has to be very well structured data, which is in financial, and a lot of data is like well structured. So that's why it's a common feature, and they have put it into this one. So what you do, you say, okay, I want to group. Okay, sorry, yeah, I want to group, on the rows or on the columns. If you just put subtotal over here, oops, sorry, will not work because there are no totals here. So I say, okay, go to data, group, and then auto outline. Yeah, auto outline. So auto outline, what it will do, it will automatically try to deduct, using that, look, it will analyze your worksheet and automatically figure out what kind of totaling will be good for it, or grouping will be good for this worksheet. If I do this, as you can see, it automatically figure out that these columns are being summed into this column. So that's why it gave you this option to expand or collapse it, because you can hide some information and you just look at the total for the quarters. So over here, instead of monthly, you can just look at the quarter level. Similarly, over here, instead of monthly level, you can just look at the quarter level, and so on. So it automatically figure it out. And if you only want for the whole year, you can just collapse over here. It's for the whole year for division 1. And same thing over here in the left, or for the rows wise also. It figured out that because, how did it figure out? Because of the formula, this sum formula. So it's looking for these sums, and then because it's a nicely structured data set, so it was able to figure out that, okay, what kind of grouping will be good in the columns and what kind of grouping will be good in the rows. See, just with just one click, you got all these totals, 3 levels on the columns and 3 levels on the rows. Any questions? This is a very powerful, very useful feature, which you may use. It's very easy actually. In programming, of course, you can do that also, but in programming it you will have to write certain commands. Over here is just one click. Okay, so let me undo it and undo it again, because I did all of those things. It was undoing it. Oops, to the different. Okay, so we have over this it's not undoing it. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to clear the totals. So ungroup it, ungroup, clear outline. Okay, so this is your original data set. Somebody, some accountant or somebody in your finance department or you created it. So if you are working as a financial analyst, for example, most likely you will create something like this. And now you just want to show the totals. So all you have to do is just click anywhere and then say, okay, go to data and say, okay, group auto outline, meaning that outline for me automatically. And because your data was very well structured, so it was able to figure out how to do the groups. It grouped them quarterly, it grouped them for the whole year, and it grouped them division wise, sales and the total expenses. Very nice and neat. And then you just show them whatever details you want to show to your management. For example, you just want to show them the sales total, expenses total, and the gross profit. And if you don't want to show it on the monthly level, you can just collapse the months also and just show them on the quarterly level. See, okay, that's for the sales for this first quarter. For all divisions was this much, total expenses were this much, gross profit was this much, and this is for the whole year. And if you just want to the figure for the whole year, you can collapse it even in like this. And this is the gross profit for the whole year. Okay. Any questions? Now, next is actually a very again a very common things. Let's say you have multiple sheets for division 1 sales, division 2 sales, and division 3 sales, and you want to consolidate them into one sheet over here. So the thing is that this heading should be the same. All sheets should have the same headings. That's the first condition. Okay. So you can consolidate by position, or you can consolidate by category. There are two ways. If you look at our here, there are consolidation by position and there's a consolidation by category. So let's say that we want to consolidate by position first. So in the consolidated sales sheet, what you will do, you create. So you have only these three sheets. Maybe three different people are preparing them from different divisions, of course, and then you give them a template that okay, I want in this format, I want this information. So they will send you these three worksheets. Now you are trying to consolidate them to present it to your management. So you take your template where you will want to combine them. Okay, and then all the worksheet, all the data, these workbooks need not to be in the same worksheet. Actually, they can be in even different sheets. It can read it from different sheets also. But for the ease, it's better if you can combine them into one sheet. Then it's becomes a little easier. Otherwise, you will have to open all the workbooks. Okay. Then in the new worksheet, what you do, you select the upper left corner of the destination range. For example, over here, this one, and then you say that okay, choose data and consolidate. And then oh, because it's coming from the, so let me delete this old data. And then I will show you that how to consolidate. So what you want to consolidate? You want to do the sum. Okay. You want to add them from where? So this is your reference. So over here you can click this to browse. You can click the browse button to get it from different files. But because I already have loaded them into the same file, so I don't need to do this browse. I just have to go click on this one, and then it says consolidate reference. Is some summary, and then you just have to select that what you want to consolidate. So I go to over here and I say I want to consolidate from here through here. So shift and then click here. Okay, and then go back. So what it read is say that okay, reference is division one sales sheet, which is this one, this division one sales sheet. The range is B3 through M5. So B3 through M5. Okay, this is what I am trying to consolidate on from this sheet. Okay, so this is one sheet. I say add, so it will add it to my reference range. Then again, I add one more. I go again over here, click on this again. I go to division 2 sales. Again, it has kept this thing, so it automatically got it from division 2 sales sheet. Same thing, B3 through M5. I say fine. Okay, click on this icon and then say add this one also to my references. And same thing you do for the third one. So again, click on this selection thing, go to the third one. If the range should be the same, click back over here and then add it also, and then click OK. See how easy it is. So it combined the total from these three sheets. Now it's always a good idea to add them from there. For example, let's say division one sale was 23,000. Let's say take the even number 23,000 for February for this first knickknacks, 23,000, right? So do a quick sanity check. We call it a sanity check. Division 2 February is 24. So 23 plus 24 is about 47,150. And then division 3 is 22. So 47 and 22 is 69, and 69 660. So that should be for consolidated, should be 69 690. Sorry, yeah, 69. So that's a quick sanity check that is doing the sum correctly. If you want to test another one, let's say, it's always a good idea to test some on the range, on the edges, so that you will sure that you did not miss anything. Let's say, for example, this M5 trinkets is showing the total of 76,500. You just do a quick sanity check over here, because why I'm doing it there, because in the formula it's not showing the formula. It did it, and actually it just giving you the total. So that's why it's always a good idea to do a quick sanity check. So 25 and a quarter. There's 25 and quarter, then 26 and a half. So that's like 51 and 3/4. And then 51 and 24, that will be 75, and this will be little more than 76,000. So 76 and 508. So that's called as quick sanity check, so that you are sure that is you are not did not mess up anything. So it's always a good idea to check the ends, especially. Okay, and something maybe in the middle, just a quick check, like I did, for example, an easy number. Because I saw an easy number 23, 24, something like that. So this is a quick checking. Okay, so try it for the other things. Like for example, over here, you will do the expenses. So do the same thing for expenses. This consolidated expenses. Try to do it for over here. So this one will be a little more. Why? Because there are more rows, but doesn't matter. Same 12 column. So again, you go to data, consolidate. Over here, click this selection range. Go to your first sheet. Do the selection from here to here. Okay, and then go back and add it to your reference range. Then again, go back, go to the second sheet, division 2. It kept the previous range. Just change the sheet name. That's good. So I have this division 2 expenses sheet also. Add it. You have to press the add so that it comes up over here. Then do the same thing for the third one. Go to the division 3 expenses and then come back. It should have the same range, and then add that one also, and then okay, and all the totals are here. And then just do a quick sanity check, as I told you. Like over here, a lot of them are 12, 18. So that seems, so you better check them out. There are a lot of them. They are 600 and 618, so 1218, and it's 0. So that's why it's only 200, because over here something is missing. Okay. So actually, what is missing here? Utilities are there. You see over here, utilities are there. So it's but what is missing here? There are 8 rows. There are 9 rows. So cost of goods, advertising, these two are same. Cost of goods, advertising, rent, supplies, salary, shipping, utilities. So over here, cost of good, yeah. So this one, advertising, rent, supplies, salaries, shipping, utilities. What is missing? Oh, the first range is okay. This first row is missing actually. Expenses by month. This heading is missing. So see, in these two they have these headings, but in the third one you do not have the heading. So this means that my formula is not good. Okay, so you go back here. It's better you undo it, and then again go to data, consolidate, and then first two are fine, but this one you delete it or you add yeah you don't have the option to it. So what you say over here, you say that okay, use labels, create links. No, because this is not from B50. So you delete this one. Again, go to your third sheet and you say over here, I want from here to here. Okay. So now it's correct. See, these are the things which you have to be careful about. That's why sanity checks are very important because the format was not exactly the same. So the rows were shifted up because this row is not there in division 3 expenses. All right. So that's why it's very important that you have to be careful about these kind of things. These are very practical. In a real life, you have a lot of these kind of problems. Okay. So this was consolidating based on positions. Another option is consolidating by categories. Okay, consolidate by categories. So over here, you have division A budget, division B budget, division C budget, and you want to consolidate by category. So this over here, all the sheets are open, so that's fine. In the new sheet, select the upper left corner of the destination range. So where you want it, you want by the category over up here, so that's fine. And then go again to data, consolidate, and this time the concept this time in the function you select the summary function. You want the sum. Okay, yeah, you want the sum, that's fine. um so what are we trying to do over here? Top, yeah. So what are the top row is our again you want to add, so go over here to add the range. Sorry, add the range for division A budget, and you want the categories also, so you select all of them. You say okay, I want to select all of them. Okay, A through N, and then row number, yeah, 2 3. Okay, so go back, add that one. Then again, for this division B budget, do the same thing. Okay, is fine. So just make sure it's also A2 through N17. Yeah, A2 through N17. So add this one also. Then go for the third division, A2 through N17. That's fine. And then labels in top row. Okay. So it did it based on the row. Okay. So what did it do? It consolidated. No, it just did the fun. The sum. Mm, Let me see. It did not do it category wise. That's what we are trying to do. So labels in left column. So over here, it did it by categories. It sum is novelties category. January is 51,675. So for January, novelties is 23,500, and 26 and 23 is 49,700. is it for novelty? Sorry, for novelties. Or here, though, there's no novelties. Yeah, it doesn't have the novelties. Okay, so that's why it remains just 23.5, and then division C is 23. Oh, sorry, 28. So 23 and 23.5 is a 51 something. So 51,675. Yep. So it's doing the sum on the categories. I say the categories on the left column, on the left columns, and on the top rows. So that's why it did it like this one. So this one was only on the rows. Okay. So let me show it again. Go back to data, consolidate, and I'm saying that okay, use labels in top row as well as in left column from these sheets. Okay. So you can quickly do some check on the ends. For example, let's say easy one is maybe like this one, 310,000. This is for bubbles. For bubbles, total is 310,000. So you go over here, you look for bubbles. Total is 310,000 for this month. So nobody else has bubbles. Yeah, this one doesn't have bubbles. This one has no total. Total is missing here. So that's why I didn't get the total. See? These kind of things are very important. So what you do, you copy this formula here, and then you have to go back to your consolidates over here, and now this should change. So you do you sorry so you go back to your consolidated sheet, and then over here you go back and you have to go back to data, consolidate again, same thing, just press OK. Now it will become the bubble becomes 644. So these sanity checks are very important. Okay, why 644? Because 310 bubbles for this for division A. For division B, there are no bubbles, so 0. And division C, there are 334. So 310 and 334 becomes 644, 250. 644, 250. So these sanity checks are very important, especially in Excel. Once you have a program or a script, it's more systematic, so you can build them as a program. But in the when you're doing it manually, it takes very due diligence to make sure that your numbers are adding up correctly. Okay. What else I wanted to show? Any questions, please? You guys are not talking. I'm getting worried. Is it good? Is it not good? Is it too boring? Is it? Please give me some of your feedback. Are you learning anything? Not learning anything?
It would be
I'm following fine. So,
easier.
Marwa, what do you say?
It would be easier for me to understand.
I'm sorry. Your voice is too low. What are you saying? Sorry. Can you say it louder?
Can you hear me?
I can hear, but barely.
Oh, I don't.
What are you saying?
So I'm saying that it would register better once I practice and
Yes,
I just
definitely.
need a reference. Like I don't know if we're getting recording.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yes, Sakina. You have any comments?
Now, I'm just fine.
You probably know most of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why it may be boring for you. Good. Yeah.
But I'm trying to do it same thing with the other my work, so I'm trying to learn more,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Exactly. And especially,
I'm using a different data, so I'm just trying to see if those thing works on those.
yeah, yeah. So data has to be in a very a well structured format.
I've
For
actually never used consolidating, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
yeah, it's very good
Because
because this is very simple.
majority of time, what we use in the industry is subtotal,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, VLOOKUP is just like the easiest way to look up. But yeah, consolidating was something new for me.
Oh, okay, good. At least you learned something. Good, great.
Yep.
Okay. That's nice to know. Okay. Anybody else? Any other comments? Or think I missed one thing. What did I miss? Consolidation is very important because this is very practical. You have different divisions. You just give them a template that, hey, input your data in this template and send them back to me, and then you just consolidate them. So yeah, I wanted to show you one more thing, that I'm only showing sum, but that's not the only thing you can do. You can actually also do something more than the sum. I mean, in this case, it doesn't make sense, but let me see. Let me go back to invoices. Yeah. So over here we did that this total, right? And we just added them. So let's say for some weird reason you want to multiply them. I mean, in some data analytics, yes, you will do it when they are probabilities. When you are combining the probabilities, you multiply them. So that's very common in when you are doing advanced analytics and things like that. So what you can do over here, okay, so data and the subtotals, you just instead of doing the sum on the quantity, yeah, you just say that you do the product, which is the multiply them all them together. So over here is the multiplication of these numbers of the quantity. 15 times 2 is 30. 30 times 16 is 480. 480 times 2 is 960. And over here is 10 into 10 is 100. 100 into 14 is 1400. And 20 into 20 is 400. And over here, it's like 460 400,000. Okay, so it's multiplying these numbers instead of adding them. So the point of this showing is that you have a lot more option than just totaling. Totaling is one option, but you can have and use any functions, statistical function. You can find the count of them, average of them, maximum, minimum, or the standard deviation of the population, variance, and variance of the population. These are statistical functions, so you can do a lot of these functions instead of just simply adding them. Or if you just want a count, you can just select the count. So it just show you that there are 4 sales, or for this customer. They are like 4 for this one, 4 for this one, 5 for this one, 1 2 3 4 5. So it's just counting the number of rows basically. This is a big row in like 16 rows. Okay, so that's also something which in the most of the time, that's why they call it subtotal, because when this function first came 20 plus years ago, it was only doing addition, some totaling. And as I think Sakina also said, they mostly use the subtotals, which is also a totaling function. But now, as the more analytics and more requirements, so they are adding all these different functions, which are also useful for a lot of analysis. Okay, anything else? Now we are behind our schedule, but that's fine. We will inshallah catch up, or we'll have some extra session to cover, because I was supposed to cover a lot of things. I was too ambitious, I guess. But because next we will be talking about more advanced analytical tools. For example, the data tables. What is a data table? One way and two ways data tables. Then the goal seeking, which is very powerful. Scenarios. So your homework will be, and then solver. Yeah, solver is optimization. So, and then we go into Excel tables. So these are things are and then importing from different file formats, and then applying a lot of other functions. So I think in the next week we should be able to catch up a lot of it. Otherwise, we will have some extra session. Don't worry. And then, but this stuff is actually, yeah, this is the very crux of a lot of optimization, solving problems, what if scenarios, seeking the goals. So all these things are very important from a data business intelligence point of view, and not very many people use them. Okay, so I think it's a good point to stop for today. Anything else? Any questions? Any comments, please? Sorry, I didn't give the break because of our initial hiccups.
Sam,
Yes,
can you please email me the recording for the last section and today's section, please?
I don't mind. I used to do it in previous courses, but this time Ahmed is very particular about because I think so. I have to talk to Ahmed. Let me talk to him, and then if I send it to you, I will send it to everybody. I mean, why only you? But because everybody would probably like to have the recording. So
Thank you.
yeah. So, but I will let me talk to him and see, what he says. Okay. Yeah. So what you do, please. Try these things again. These are very powerful, like Sakina is doing with her own data set. That's great. Grouping, subtotaling, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. We didn't look because it's a new function. We will cover it in the following week. And then these functions, once we go into these more advanced things, scenarios, and goal seeking, this is where the real stuff fun starts. But even play with this formatting. you know Formatting is also nice because this is much easier to do in Excel than in programming. In programming, it will take little more things, but in Excel, because everything is on display, is what you see, what we call visivig. What you see is what you get. So that's why, all your data for a small data set is excellent. For big data set, of course, it's not possible. But so that's why, Excel. That's another reason that people use Excel, because for consolidated data, for presenting to management and non-technical people, Excel is the best. All right. Okay. So have a nice evening, and then see you on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yeah.
Mhm.